This is Wilson Morales from Black Women TV talking to Damien D. Smith on his latest film, the international film Nine, as well as his upcoming projects, which includes the series Government Cheat, that's going to be playing on Apple TV, opposite David Oyelowo. How's it going?
I was going well, man. How you doing, brother?
Good. So Nine has been out already, played overseas, and it recently came out on Prime Video and Apple. Am I correct?
Yes, yes, you're 100% correct, brother.
So it's an international film. Congrats on the role. How did it come about?
It came about me coming. I had the funny thing is that I just got back from being over in Ghana where I was doing some business, and then I get back. I get an audition for this movie, and I read I do the audition, and then I get the script. And I read the script, and they had everything that I liked. It's everything. It was of the occult. It had a superhero element to it. It was funny. It was interesting. It was a detective role. So it included everything that I was looking forward to, go forward with my career, and went an audition and got it, man. So I'm really happy about that because this is the trajectory that where I wanted to go and broaden out my horizons.
And you've worked on other projects such as the Purge series as well as Snowfall, but this one is a lead role. So when you did you know it was a lead role auditioning for it?
Yeah, yeah, yes, I did. That was one of the reasons that contributed to me wanting to do this role. It was a leading role, it was an international film, and it possessed, again, like I said, those characteristics of storytelling that I like in my own life, the sci-fi, the thriller, the occult, all those type of things. So those were all contributing factors, but being the lead role definitely was.
Now, you've obviously actors have to prepare for any role, but when it's a lead role, was there a little bit more of a challenge? Psyching yourself up, like not to psych yourself out, knowing it's a lead role, and like as opposed to like, or preparing for any other role. Was this different? Was it a different technique?
Yeah, well, when you said it, I mean, you actually caught it when you said it. I know you probably said it in jest, but that was dead on. I was like, okay, wow, okay. Once I got it, I was like, okay, well, no, this is the lead role, and I have to, carry this situation, this entire film. So then I wanted to like be kind of psyching myself up, and then I had to under psych myself, like, okay, now it's just it's time to go to work, and it what it helped is that I was able just to break it down to like, hey man, scene by scene, enjoy scene by scene, try to bring what you want out of every scene and get into your intentions. So that's the way I combated it. Just broke it down into scene by scene, and you just do the work and do the best work you can.
Now, the story is about a detective from LA who gets called by a friend of his from Ghana telling him that, there's a murder that just recently happened that's connected to the murder of his daughter that happened some years ago, which enables you to go back to Ghana to help her solve the case. You just mentioned earlier that you were in Ghana prior to shooting this movie. So was that a blessing that when you have to audition and it's like, oh, did you know the setting and that filming was going to take place in Ghana?
Yeah, yeah. I knew when I talked to the producers, I talked to the casting agent. Uh, she let me know. Shout out to let me know it's shooting in Ghana. I was like, hey, I just got back, but that was for me, man. It's kind of like God's plan, bro. Because that for me was the best thing that could happen because it also allowed me to be there in another capacity. Working, but then also being able to really entrench myself in the culture and really see if I want to move forward on the other things that I had going on as well. So it was a blessing. But yeah, that was definitely a contributing factor of me, going so gun ho about this role.
You're playing the role of the detective, obviously a grieving father still. I always say actors have to find something in the character that they can relate with. How did you relate to this character?
Well, you know what it is. Excuse me. Uh, how I related to the character is just related to like the humanity of man. What the things that we have to go through and trying to figure out and go, and that you will go to all ends of the earth to to get vengeance, to get things to be right with your family. That's exactly how I feel when it comes to my family. I don't play about that. I go all in, and so I just had to put myself in the most extreme cases of like losing a loved one and losing somebody, and knowing that you can get some type of retaliation, some type of retribution about this whole situation. That's where I was able to put myself, and then go into like the detective mode, figuring things out and being haunted by the situation and the circumstances of it. So, those were the layers that I just added on to when I was building up this character. But it definitely It definitely was a ride.
Now you're working opposite some acclaimed actresses that are known in the Ghana, in Ghana, and they've done some work in the States. What was the chemistry like with your co-stars?
Well, my co-star, first off, Rosemary Zimu, which I didn't know before because I just didn't watch the show. She's on a show called Savage Beauty on Netflix. And when once I got the role and I started talking to people like, hey, I'm working with Rosemary. They said Rosemary Zemo, and most of my women friends, they knew her because they watched that show. And I was like, oh, she's great. And then I watched a couple episodes and I was thoroughly impressed. And then, but I told myself I'm not going to watch this completely. I'm not going to binge it and everything. So I'm just going to sit and wait to, I get to meet with her on set. And once I met her on set, man, I thought, and she was just absolutely a darling, man. She's perfect. Shout out to her and congratulations to her as well. But but then with all my other co-stars like Chris Attoh and Kate, you did, and this is again why I did this movie, to expand myself. I did not know how big of a star they were. They are in West Africa, Nigeria, South Africa. Like Kate and Chris are really, really sought after and like superstars and movie stars over there in West Africa, in Togo, in in all those those countries, and on the South Africa, Nigeria, they are really acclaimed and sought after, and that was very impressive for me to see how much you can be your own thing in a place. And me from America, not I just didn't know, and understanding those levels of popularity. There's American popular and international popular, and that's a different thing. I remember Will Smith spoke about that in his book and things like that, and when he's met with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Wesley Snipes, and and those guys, learning being international. That's kind of I think the next progression of the business right now.
Now I say Ghana, but and you said you were mentioned that you had been there earlier. Did you explore more of the city? Did you obviously? I'm assuming you didn't shoot in the same city you were staying at earlier. So when you went back, were you able to explore more of Ghana while you were out there?
Oh yeah. I explored much more than Ghana, and then actually, we all know shooting a movie gets you a little different access. So I was able to go to these certain parties and certain things to let me know how fly Ghana is. And then able to, they we were hosted on different places, and being able to go to some of these botanical gardens and going to some of these state treasures to let you know the beauty of this place. And it kind of gives you a little, backdoor access to things where you can really experience this, to really tell people the beauty and like the intricate love that's in Ghana. And that's and I appreciate the state for that. I appreciate the country for that, because they really made that happen and rolled it out for us while we were filming. So our downtime, we had great things to be a part of, like the Chaliwate Festival. That's a cool festival. I know the name sounds funny to us on the West, but it's a good time.
Now the film has been out for some time, and every week we're getting a lot of projects out there in terms of people of color in front of the screen, behind the screen. So
Good.
there's a competition to try to get an audience. What's going to get an audience to see Nine while it's out now on different streaming platforms?
Well, I mean, what the audience is going to come to is people who like, sci-fi, like witchery, like the occult, like drama, like suspense, told through our lens. Again, it's set in Ghana because Ghana plays a big role. I mean, basically a superhero story. So if you want to see an empowered Black woman superhero, you should watch Nine. And then you get to see me, myself, and I, doing my performing and adding what I add to the story. But I really think that those things are like that kind of carves us out, because I personally don't know, since like what's that Lovecraft Country
That
that went off HBO. I haven't seen anything of that sorts and of the occult and things like that that's happening. So Nine is a good way to fill that void if you're looking for those type of stories, little magic, surrealism things, and into the special effects, VFX, those type of things into storytelling.
mhm.
Not a movie for you.
And then coming up, obviously, is a new series on Apple TV Plus, Government Cheese, executive produced and starring David Oyelowo, Simone Missick, Boakye Woodbine, including yourself. Um, what's your role in the series?
I play somewhat of like an oracle. I pop up in a few episodes and help, you say navigate, David's character in the right direction. It's always a good time working with that brother, man. He's so giving and such a pleasant person to be around. So I really enjoy working with him. I didn't have any scenes with Simone, but Simone and I have been on a couple projects together. The last one I think we worked on together was Jen. So I love it's always good seeing and working with Simone as well. But wait till y'all see them, they go head to head on this. They're a married couple. It's going to be something to see. It's definitely going to be something to see.
So then, from shooting Nine International, obviously in Ghana, and then coming back to the States to film Government Cheese, two different roles, two different type of storylines. What's your takeaway from working on those two different projects that helps you skill set wise as an actor moving forward to whatever project you do next?
Man, that's a good question. That's a real good question. Because those are two totally different roles. Again, Nine is leading man detective. He straightforward and going to it, and coupled with basically a superhero. And when Government Cheese, my character is eccentric. He's one of the eccentric pieces to the to the stories throughout these few episodes that pop up in. So I was able to exercise two different muscles. I love when I get to really get in there and have that that centric that I love character acting. I love that that person that comes and have fun on the screen, and then also the load and the load that being again one of the leads of a film, and to be able to carry and move forward and progress the story in a manner that that we all intend and come together to tell this type of story. So those are the two muscles that I was able to work, and all of that is going to be able to contribute to what I'm doing next.
What are you doing next?
Well, it's a couple of projects I can't talk about it right now. But
That's the pro in you. That's the pro. Obviously, when you spill too much, it's like, okay, let's not say
you know,
enough. But
I talk about things when they're coming out or they're about to be released, just like I did with Government Cheese. I didn't speak about that until it had its release date. But and everything else after that to be in that formula.
hey, all I can say is congrats on your lead role in Nine. Congrats on your role in Government Cheese. We'll be looking forward to seeing it, and obviously, whatever project got coming up next, we'll hear about it when it comes to be. So, congrats on everything. We'll talk down the road.
Uh-huh.
Take care.
Oh, thank you very much, my brother. Appreciate you.